other videos here. I've got this video by not Malcom, Gaming YouTube's Biggest Hypocrite. So I figured we would start there and move our way around. Why did this mess up? Hold on. Here we go again. There we go. I must have adjusted it last stream. Then we move it over here and make it a little bigger for you guys. And lock that in. So anyway, YouTube's Biggest Hypocrite. Little short video. Let's see what's going on here.
I thought you said you weren't going to be bought.
These companies will do anything for money.
Like every other journalist out there getting paid for reviews.
Journalists have become cheerleaders for the industry.
Really?
Okay, is he insinuating that Legendary Drops has been paid for a review?
Disappointed in the hypocrisy here.
This video is actually sponsored by Blood Message.
So let's just get into it. Do you know this guy, Legendary Drops? He has a gaming commentary channel here on YouTube, and in his videos, he's often putting the games industry in its place, rightfully so. In his videos, he levies a lot of criticism toward AAA game companies and the games they create.
And how shallow and utterly vapid the rest of this industry has become.
I'll say after watching the little soy video I watched before, I am a little less like I listened to him and he really isn't saying anything of note. That's wild, this opening, considering what I just dropped in Discord. Hold on, I'll have to go look at what you dropped in Discord too here.
Live service slop that has taken over.
But anyways, yeah, there's I watched a soy lefty content creator, and the beginning of it was kind of eye-opening in the fact that he really doesn't say anything. It's just kind of like he's Endymion with less woke, we'll say, or less anti-woke on there. But yeah, I'll keep listening.
Over the video game industry, the excessive monetization.
In a world that is drowning in microtransactions and endless live service models.
The out-of-touch game developers, the drab state of games journalism.
Instead of giving honest reviews, journalists have become cheerleaders for the industry.
Just in the last year or two, his subscriber count has skyrocketed. He gets hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views per video. And for the most part, his message has always been very pro-gamer, pro-consumer. And I always respected that. That is, until a few days ago, when he posted a video that makes me think it's time to add him to the ever-growing list of gaming influencer sellouts.
Today's video is actually about Blood Message, as well as an Eastern torrent of games that we're seeing. This video is actually sponsored by Blood.
Oh no, he's on the Eastern, the Eastern games are saving gaming grift.
Message.
You done lost your damn mind.
Legendary Drops.
Was that the... Okay, is Blood Message the From Software multiplayer Twitch, or not Twitch, Nintendo game?
Posted a video where he was sponsored to promote a game called Blood Message, which is published by an $80 billion Chinese company called NetEase.
Oh, not NetEase.
Why this is so messed up on so many levels? Let me just read one of the comments someone left on that video. I thought you said you weren't going to be bought, like every other journalist out there getting paid for reviews. It's a pretty giant conflict of interest, no matter how you try to cleverly disguise your light criticisms, to have the subject of your video also happen to be your sponsor. These are the exact same bad moves you've harped on while talking about other people doing this exact crap. That comment's the mother I never had, the friend that everybody deserves. Because being a sellout is one thing, pretending that you're not a sellout while you actively shill for a multi-billion-dollar company.
Okay, yeah, that looks pretty bad, considering, yeah, that's pretty much what he does, is talk about bad journalism and gaming. So why would you take, well, $1 billion sponsorship? No NetEase game. Gotcha. Either way, like, it's still I guess a big company with a huge game, and they're pushing for it. And these big companies aren't going to let you, like, dog the game. Very rarely does a dev give you the option to actually dog their game, right?
That's a whole different ballgame.
It's the debut title from 24 Entertainment, a new internal team at NetEase Thunderfire.
Legendary Drops has built his entire channel on being critical of greedy, out-of-touch game companies. Yet here he is getting sponsored by NetEase, a company with a prolific history of engaging in shady anti-consumer practices.
Several employees at NetEase Games have been arrested under suspicion of money laundering.
It just comes down to corporate.
Oh no.
Games, the studio behind Marvel Rivals, is being sued by State of Decay co-creator Jeff Strain for the princely sum of $900 million.
From alleged stock manipulation, corruption investigations, to employee fraud and money laundering, let's discuss.
Dude, these Chinese companies are just absolute menaces. What's wrong with us getting paid argument is so flaccid. You're getting paid for AdSense and usually fan crowding through super chats and services like Patreon, but it's just not 5 bed houses and 3 cars money, so they sell out. Yeah, it really is like, just once you get started, you want to keep piling the money up. I mean, I can appreciate the grift, right? But if you're going to take a sponsorship, maybe don't take a sponsorship that's in your wheelhouse of where you oh, did I not get that one? Of where you work, right? You're talking about gaming's journalism. Probably shouldn't take a game sponsorship unless it's maybe some indie company that, you know, you're really proud of, who's doing, you know, the right thing, but definitely not someone as big as NetEase and with their bad reputation.
As to controversies and lawsuits of NetEase.
And as this commenter pointed out, Legendary Drops has frequently criticized games journalists who he believes are in the pockets of game companies and are therefore more inclined to give favorable reviews to games made by AAA publishers.
The minute that you start going out and trying to shape and lead the conversation around a game in a certain direction is the minute that you have switched from earning our money to thieving.
So it's ironic.
Oh man,
that he's now here promoting a game that's paying him to do so.
Today what I want to do is I want to talk about access journalism.
And to make matters worse, this game Blood Message isn't even out yet. There's not even a release date for this game. There's a reason he just replays the trailer footage over and over again in the video, because he hasn't even played the game himself, bruh. I'm dead ass.
From the
dude, that's like a cardinal sin, or it used to be a cardinal sin in gaming, like playing a game that hasn't come out yet, or a live service or something like that, where you're just promoting something for no other reason than money. But as we've seen, the grift, well, I can't say grift, they might genuinely believe in it, but the money talks when the cards are down. Wait, did he just say this was sponsored? Who, not Malcom? I think, hold on, let's go back.
outside, obviously we haven't played the game yet, so we have no idea what it's really going to be like.
This is extremely and to make matters worse, this game Blood Message isn't even out yet. There's not even a release date for this game. There's a reason he just replays the trailer footage over and over again in the video, because he hasn't even played the game himself.
Yeah, let's see. Your bro is talking this game up so much with only the trailer. He didn't even say what he was basing his view off of until 9 minutes in, and I quote, "After watching the trailer and listening to what the devs were actually trying to deliver, this whole video review is paid fluff." I enjoy a lot of this video, but a lot of the time it seems like he's talking to a group of people that always agree with him. Yeah, this is a failing here, saying that, I don't know if he ever said he was sponsored. We'll keep listening. Maybe it'll come up. But this is like a failing of content creators. You start getting gassed up by the people around you, and then you think your talking points are good. I've seen Smash JT actually say this out loud. He's like, I get so many good comments and so many people that like you. If this is presented as a review and not disclosed as a sponsorship, that's straight up illegal, man. I doubt he did that, but because he does mention, he said in the thing that it's a trailer. But now you're making me go back further.
Actively shill for a multi-billion-dollar company that's a whole different ballgame.
It's the debut title from 24 Entertainment, a new internal team at NetEase Thunderfire.
Legendary Drops has built his entire channel on being critical of greedy, out-of-touch game companies. Yet here he is getting sponsored by NetEase, a company with a prolific history of engaging in shady anti-consumer practices.
Several employees at NetEase Games have been arrested under suspicion of money laundering.
It just comes down to corporate greed.
NetEase Games, the studio behind Marvel Rivals,
A thing I've seen too, now that we're back to this like Chinese greed and stuff like that, like Chinese companies are known to be corrupt, right? The government's corrupt. There, you see all the stuff about buildings not getting done properly. There was the mess where the building, the real estate market almost crashed the whole economy because they were just building and building and building and ballooning up the market, but not actually finishing the buildings. So if people think these Chinese companies are going to come in and do anything but fuck up games even more, they're in for a rude awakening.
is being sued by State of Decay co-creator Jeff Strain for the princely sum of $900 million.
From alleged stock manipulation, corruption investigations, to employee fraud and money laundering, let's discuss the controversies and lawsuits of NetEase.
And as this commenter pointed out, Legendary Drops has frequently criticized games journalists who he believes are in the pockets of game companies and are therefore more inclined to give favorable reviews to games made by AAA publishers.
The minute that you start going out and trying to shape and lead the conversation around a game in a certain direction is the minute that you have switched from earning our money to thieving.
So it's ironic as fuck that he's now here promoting a game that's paying him to do so.
Today, what I want to do is I want to talk about access journalism.
And to make
Still a funny statement.
worse, this game Blood Message isn't even out yet. There's not even a release date for this game. There's a reason he just replays the trailer footage over and over again in the video, because he hasn't even played the game himself, bruh. I'm dead ass.
From the outside, obviously, we haven't played the game yet, so we have no idea what it's really going to be like.
This is extremely misleading because how in the hell are you going to promote something you haven't even touched?
This game feels bioengineered to be exactly what a lot of people have been looking for.
The game could be garbage. It could be broken as fuck, riddled with bugs, rigged with de novo, filled with microtransactions. It could be chock full of CCP propaganda for all we know.
I love them. China.
But here is a multi-billion-dollar company writing him a check to do not a 60-second ad, but an entire video. The entire video is the ad.
Yeah, I think that's even worse. Like the fact that it's not just, I just destroyed my bike. All right, I left it out in the storm. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, but this contrast with ad sponsors. Yeah, an entire video is kind of crazy too. That's my opinion with this video. Like, how would you... I don't know that I could live with myself knowing that, I did this kind of sponsorship just for money. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if the money ever starts rolling in. But, God, I would hope that I don't break down just for a paycheck.
Advertisement. Again, this is NetEase. They're more than double the size of EA. They don't just make video games either. They're one of the largest internet service providers in the world. And according to Wikipedia, they have a ton of pig farms. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but I can guarantee you they...
Oh no, I gotta rescue those pigs from the Chinese.
Paid him hella bacon for this video.
Now come on now.
And this is my hot take, okay? But if you're a video game YouTuber, you should never be doing dedicated ads for video games. These viewers are coming to you for your honest opinions about video games. And there's a reason gamers...
If you're a video game YouTuber, now generally those are going to be the people that these ad companies, target, but like mobile game ones, I really don't care about, especially if it's just some guy who doesn't talk about those kind of things. But yeah, if you're a gaming YouTuber and you take a sponsorship for a game, especially one that's not out, like, I think the best argument is to do like a review of the game. But even then, it's starting to get to the point that these games feel, what's the word? I mean, you can tell that it's getting harder for people to talk bad about the game. And a lot of companies won't let you have the review. Like, big companies are definitely not going to.
hate when YouTubers do shit like this.
Because I uploaded a Starfield video that was a dedicated ad, and the comments wrecked me. I was ashamed.
It's insulting as fuck.
You wonder why people don't respect you when you don't respect the intelligence of your audience.
Furthermore, he makes this even worse by trying to tie this sponsored game into this weird, twisted message about how Eastern games are superior to Western games.
No.
Down its identity to appeal to a global market, it leans into its culture that the world is a lot bigger than a handful of ideas Western studios have been stuck on for decades.
Any game company, regardless.
So he's straight up shilling for the East in his video. So it sounds like just all of his other videos, but he's sliding in this ad, right? I hope he did disclose it, but I mean, either way, it's a very light, like the game's not out yet. It's so dishonest.
Of where they are geographically can make a great game, or they can make a shitty game. I've spent many a sleepless night in PC bongs playing Eastern games, and they're not the magical beacon of hope that he thinks they are. Are we forgetting the part where it was actually Eastern games that brought microtransactions?
I have zero tolerance for it. There's too much conflict of the internet, and customers are being bamboozled by the breakdown between the influencer and corporate entity using them as a marketing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that is, it's come out as straight up scams, and it's because YouTubers will just take it. They see the guy that, what is it? Better Health, recently that extension that came out as actually stealing from content creators. This is one of the biggest reasons why I stopped following people like Yong Ye after he shilled Cyberpunk 2077 when it came out. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. I've definitely distanced myself from even a lot of game reviewers because the big names, you just don't know if they're being honest, and then some of them you can just tell by how soft they're being on the game itself, even when it's bad, right? I'm not saying you have to be like me going after Smash JT or an anti-woker, but you at least need to, I don't know, need to have that journalistic separation, right? General audiences will shit on IGN and Kotaku for access journalism, but not realizing these YouTubers are just as bad. Yeah, it's become pretty horrid.
Transactions into the mainstream? Are we forgetting about Nexon and MapleStory? Are we forgetting it was the East that popularized gacha games, which are basically casinos in video game form, notoriously predatory?
It's a gacha game, guys. Gacha games are already by design predatory.
And this brings me to who is actually sponsoring him, the company behind Blood Message, which is NetEase. I find it fascinating that someone who has crusaded against greedy game companies is being sponsored by one of the most money-hungry game companies of all. NetEase publishes so many slimy gacha and mobile games that are chock full of microtransactions.
Oh no, I might get eaten.
Plentiful. They also have a history of fully abandoning games that aren't profitable enough for them. That is, after players have spent hundreds of dollars of their money on that game. They're known to just shut down servers without any warning.
The game came out 4 days ago. On the same day, the studio had to shut down.
But I guess for him, NetEase gets a pass because
I remember that.
Eastern games are thriving.
Yeah, this is what I hate about the Eastern narrative games. Like, the East has a terrible reputation, but because West bad, we just ignore all of that and say that they're saving games because one or two games come out that are popular. And the thing is like, when you look at games like Black Myth Wukong, which I think is a good game, right? I haven't played it, but it has earned its kind of reputation. And what was the other Chinese game that came out recently? But it's like their player base is dedicated to Japan, and Japan is enormous. So when they get 200,000, 300,000 concurrent, it's not the Western market. It's all in the East. There was a game I recently, the anti-woke were shilling, and I looked at it and I was like, you realize that it's only like 3% in the West? This game isn't wanted in the West. And I would bet if I went and looked at the numbers for Black Myth Wukong, it was the same thing. I could believe that it was maybe a little bit higher, but not not to the state where it's like winning over the West.
While Western titles are drowning in complaints, controversy, and creative stagnation.
But in this case, it's the hypocrisy that does it for me. Taking a check from NetEase is antithetical to this whole exploitative game companies are bad rhetoric he's been touting in videos to no end for the last year. How is anyone supposed to trust anything he says moving forward? It's such a fast and easy way to lose credibility, and I'm sorry if this video comes across as too harsh, but my overarching message here is that content creators have become so entangled with game companies that
they're all jumping on stop killing games. Now it's popular too, but have no idea how much worse the Eastern markets would make it. Yeah, and they're slowly encroaching. They know they can't just buy out the whole market, right? We probably won't let that, the government probably won't let that happen. They'll step in, but they're slowly, like the Ubisoft deal, working into the side company. While it's not buying out those IPs, it's 100% encroaching more on that money and getting more influence over these games. Most of the good games that come out from the East are usually from Japan, and even then they're still greedy as fuck. Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at Nintendo and its anti-consumer practices. Yeah, it's a whole different world over in Japan, and people can't separate the difference between Japan and China. It's just East good. But yeah, I agree with you there.
it's actually difficult to find creators who haven't taken a check from them or who aren't in a creator program. And it's so much more disappointing.
Nintendo is insane. Dude, some of the stuff I've seen Nintendo do, they're one of the few companies that still will take down YouTube videos, even though the entire market has pretty much agreed that that's a bad thing to do.
Drops, because this is the diametrical opposite of what he said he stands for.
When I sit here and I unload on these AAA publishers and these studios, I think that one thing gets lost is that I want them to fail because it's the only language that these companies understand.
How can you say, I want these AAA publishers and studios to fail when you're actively working with them and in support of them? This is inconceivable, and it epitomizes the complete buffoonery going on within the gaming space, especially here on YouTube. As a matter of fact, because of the corruption within games media, I feel like a lot of players now look to content creators like him to get authentic news and recommendations for games.
You know, we've been following the decline of games media on this channel for over a year now,
but it's becoming more and more apparent that these YouTubers are repeating the same pattern of behavior as the games journalists they've criticized.
Games journalism used to mean something. It was supposed to be about keeping players informed, holding developers accountable, and exposing bad business practices.
It's so crazy hearing this again, and the more and more I just think he's a little weasel like the rest of them. Right?
Content creators left and right are getting wined and dined by game companies. They're getting paid to review games. They're getting sponsored to hype up and promote games that a lot of the time are actually terrible. They're walking advertisements for game companies.
When you turn your back on the people that keep you employed, well, you find yourself unemployed. Odd how that works.
The East are all just yellow people with funny funny eyes in the eyes of gamers. I didn't expect that out of you, Simon. You will buy our games and like it.
I love being right.
This has to be a humiliation kink, right?
Probably not. Oh man, okay. That was pretty good. Y'all should go subscribe to his channel, even though he's much bigger than me.